Hello and welcome to the latest edition of Fuse News, coming to you live on Facebook and YouTube. Last night, BBC News reported that Boris Johnson has said that there is a strong possibility that the UK will fail to strike a post-Brexit trade deal with the EU. The European Commission President has said talks are difficult in the bid to get a trade deal by the Sunday deadline. The probability of a no deal is higher than a deal, according to an EU official. A Brexit trade deal needs to be reached by the 31st of December, as this is when the UK will stop following EU trade rules. Prime Minister Boris Johnson travelled to Brussels on Wednesday to meet with the European Commission President in a bid to try and salvage an agreement, as negotiations appear to be making little headway. Mr Johnson's official spokesperson said the now. Michel Barnier warned EU foreign ministers that he now believes a no-deal departure is more likely than a trade agreement being brokered in time. If no deal is reached, this means that taxes and border checks will be introduced for goods that travel between the UK and the Johnson has to suit would BBC.
Don't underestimate the number of MPs from all parties, including the Conservative Party, who would be very, very let down and disappointed if this Prime Minister doesn't deliver on the only meaningful promise he made in the last election.
Now, in other news, the distribution of the COVID-19 vaccine is currently underway in the UK. Sharad has more on this story for us.
Good morning. I'm Sharad Jekun and you're watching Fuse News. Vaccination distribution has started in the UK. 90-year-old Margaret Keenan was the first person to receive the Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine at University Hospital in Coventry. By the end of the month, up to 4 million people could be vaccinated. The vaccines will first be offered to those living and working in care homes, NHS staff, and those above the age of 80. Allergy warnings have been given over the Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine. The Medicines and Healthcare Products Regulatory Agency, or MHRA, has said that those who have a history of allergic reactions should not take the Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine. The BBC reported that 2 NHS staff who took the vaccine experienced allergic reactions. Both have a history of severe allergic reactions and carried adrenaline auto-injectors. What caused the allergic reactions is yet to be determined. The National Medical Director of NHS England, Dr. Stephen Powis, said that allergy warnings are commonplace for new vaccines. I spoke to a few students to see what their opinions are on the vaccine. So I'm speaking with Quintus, and my first question is that two NHS staff had allergic reactions to the Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine on the first day of the vaccination program. And as a result, those who have a history of severe allergies are being advised by the government not to take the vaccine. The National Medical Director of NHS England said that allergy warnings are common when a new vaccine is developed. And given all of this, do you think it's safe for the general public to take the vaccine?
I mean, generally it should be safe because so many tests have been conducted and the relevant officials have also approved the vaccine, but it's also equally as important for individuals to look out for their own allergies. But that said, if an individual is proven to not have such allergy, I think it should be rather safe for like unaffected individuals.
Okay. So, okay, Next question. So right now the vaccine is being given to care home residents and staff, people aged 80 and above, as well as NHS staff. So if hypothetically you're offered to take the vaccine tomorrow, would you be willing to take it?
I mean, tomorrow sounds a bit rushed, but generally I would because of how everyone is complaining that COVID has sort of like disrupted a sense of like normalcy in like every people's everyday lives. So it's like the earlier you receive the vaccine, I think it's, in my opinion, it's the faster you can get your life back on track with all of the social interaction you want in crowded areas and whatnot. So yeah, that's my 2 cents.
Okay. Well, final question. Well, in a survey conducted by Fuse News, 81% of students said that they would take the vaccine and 19% said they would not. And given that the infection rates are high among university students, and also that vaccines are not mandatory in the UK, like taking the COVID-19 vaccine, do you think students will take the vaccine as soon as it's offered to them?
I mean, speaking as a student myself, I would, but I can't possibly speak for like the entire population. But I would say the 19% share the same concern. I mean, the slight concern as I do, in the sense that it's after all, a vaccine was only developed within a few months, so it's like there's a form of skepticism lying around. So yeah, I mean, in the statistics proven itself, 81% of the students would. So I would personally think that students would.
Okay, well, thank you so much for your time. Another student, Zakaria, gave me a written response to my questions. In it, he states, "Honestly, I don't know if I would take it so soon. I guess it's because little information has been given of the side effects of the vaccines. It's also important to note these vaccines were developed in record time. Usually a vaccine takes around 10 years to be fully approved. It takes so long because it's a complicated procedure. Perhaps if we gave it more time, we could circumvent the issue of allergies. At the same time, I think we have waited long enough for a vaccine, and so I would definitely take it when it's right. I reckon in a few months' time." A group of notable charities and organizations has warned much of the world will not be vaccinated soon enough as rich countries are hoarding vaccines. The group, known as the People's Vaccine Alliance, includes Global Justice Now, Oxfam, and Amnesty International, among others. The group stated, rich nations representing just 14% of the world's population have bought up 53% of all the most promising vaccines so far. Canada is the biggest hoarder and have purchased enough vaccines to inoculate each citizen 5 times. On Wednesday, Canada became the 3rd country to approve the Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine after the UK and Bahrain.
Thanks for that. An arrest has been made against the perpetrator of several sexual assaults in Fallowfield. Numerous reports of sexual assault on female students have been circulating recently as posts on Manchester Student Group have warned students to be careful and remain vigilant. On Monday, the 7th of December, the Greater Manchester Police announced that the male responsible has been caught and charged with 2 accounts of sexual assault. Posting to their Twitter and Facebook, the GMP Fallowfield, Withington, Levenshulme and Burnage account statement said, "Good news. After reports of sexual assault on female students in the last couple of days in Fallowfield, we've now arrested the male responsible and charged him with 2 sexual assaults. He was remanded in police custody and sent to court this morning." Whilst this will provide the students involved some necessary reassurance, it's important to remain safe and stay alert. In other news, the BBC have reported that some published COVID test results at university have found few positive cases. However, no national figures on this are currently available. The rigorous testing process was rolled out last week in order to get university students home for the Christmas holidays. At one of the universities taking part, 0.2% of the tests have been found to be positive from a sample of 4,500 students. The University of Portsmouth has reported very low numbers, and its vice-chancellor has criticised the fact that students have been blamed for spreading the virus and suggest that these results show that, in fact, students are not at fault. The University of Cambridge had 0 positive cases from more than 10,000 students. At one point, Fallowfield, a student area in Manchester, was the hotspot for coronavirus in the UK, but since, the situation has calmed down. In Greater Manchester, a disparity in infection rate statistics between northern and southern boroughs is emerging. Boroughs which are south of the city have now got a lower infection rate than the national average, according to public health data. Andy Burnham, Mayor of Greater Manchester, has suggested that the review of the tier system on the 16th may result in the area being split into 2 different tiers. In other news, a University of Manchester student, along with his band, has won a BBC show called BBC One Little Mix The Search. Pippa has more on the story.
On the 7th of November, the 4-man band Since September were announced the winners of the BBC One singing competition, Little Mix The Search. One band member, Patrick Ralphson, is a second-year student at the University of Manchester. The band were put together by Little Mix on the show and will be joining the girl group on their 2021 Confetti Tour. Fuse TV caught up with Patrick. Here's what he had to say about the experience. How did you feel when Since September announced the winners?
The words just couldn't come to me. They still can't really. It hit different. When we stood there on the stage and he said the winner is, I had a feeling in my gut. I was like, Since September would sound right now. And he said it, but still, it was just like, it was mega. It was mega. Like having, he reflects on the whole journey in like 1 second when he says your name. You're like, oh my God. You know what I mean? It was all like a year in the making and everything, and it slapped.
What would you say has been the biggest change so far in your life since winning?
The fact that I'm stopping uni because we've got the tour. I'm gonna be in London rehearsing for the tour and all that stuff. So, being able to actually be a full-time musician is just, it's something that I've always, I know it's something like such a cheesy comment, but it's genuinely something that I've always dreamed of doing. All I want to do, and now I can actually finally do that.
Do rehearsals for the tour start in January then?
I don't have a set date for when they start, but it'll be, start of the year, February, that kind of time.
Do you know what that looks like at all?
Absolutely no idea, but that's what's so exciting about it. There's so much unknown to this experience, because obviously I've never done this before. I've never played at arenas. I've never had such a serious tour. This is like proper serious musician stuff. But that's what's so exciting about it for me. Like, I just love the unknown. It's an adventure, and it's good. It's so exciting.
Can we expect any Since September original material anytime soon?
Without a doubt, yeah. We've been put in sessions with some really, really talented people writing songs. We want to get songs out like before the tour starts and during the tour. So, what I really want is to be there at Manchester Arena at the end of the tour, singing a Since September song that I've written, and have the arena sing it back to me. That's the dream.
You can hear the full interview on our Instagram account at Fuse News UOM. In other news, the Manchester City Council have made the controversial decision to open the Manchester Christmas markets this year. Frankie has more on the story.
Thank you. Manchester City Council have confirmed the annual Christmas market is taking place this year. 2 mini Christmas markets will be going ahead, and social distancing measures have been established for each site, including following a one-way foot traffic system, which will restrict the number of people that can access a stall at a time. One market, located in Piccadilly Gardens, has now opened and will remain there until the 23rd of December. This will have gift stalls and street food. The second, located in St Anne's Square, will consist of food stalls which will be running over 2 long weekends. This weekend, the 9th to the 13th, and also December the 16th to the 20th. Both will be open from 10:30 to 7 p.m. Under Tier 3 restrictions, outdoor markets are allowed to go ahead. However, alcohol is not allowed to be served. This comes in light of the Nottingham Winter Wonderland Christmas market, which opened last Saturday. Due to high footfall and lack of social distancing, this was forced to close after 24 hours and will not reopen. Many have expressed similar concerns about the markets in Manchester. For many of the independent traders, this will significantly contribute to their yearly income. Several traders spoke with Manchester Evening News, where they emphasised the importance of people following the rules so that the markets can be a success.
Thanks, Tranky, for that. Moving ahead for international news, I'm Anurag Sharma and you're watching Fuse News. International headlines for the week are as follows. So, firstly, situation between the US and China is getting tense day by day. In the latest move, China said that it would revoke visa exemption treatment for US diplomatic passport holders visiting Hong Kong and Macau after the United States on Monday imposed financial sanctions and a travel ban on 14 Chinese officials over their role in adopting a national security law for Hong Kong. Moving forward, in the United States, medical experts advising the US Food and Drug Administration have recommended emergency approval for the Pfizer coronavirus vaccine. The decision comes after a 23-member panel met to determine whether the drug's benefit outweigh the risk. The Pfizer vaccine has already been approved for the public in the UK, Canada, Bahrain, and Saudi Arabia. On the other hand, the daily US COVID-19 death toll has surpassed the 3,000 marks for the first time on Thursday, prompting pleas for Americans to scale back Christmas plans, even with vaccine on the cusp of winning regulatory approval. Moving further, global tally of COVID positive cases has crossed 70 million mark, out of which 1.58 million people have lost their life due to this virus. Globally, the US, India, Brazil, and Russia are the most affected countries. Also, France government has said that the infection rates were not falling as fast as the government had hoped after a lockdown was imposed in late October, due to which France will move to nighttime curfew from 15th of December, and the measure will not be waived even on New Year's Eve to prevent big gatherings. Moving ahead to Asia, farmer protests in India has been in a massive phase now. Since late last month, farmers have been demonstrating over reforms enacted in September that loosened rules around the sale, pricing, and storage of farm produce. Farmers have announced for the closure of a few national highways and expressways, capture of toll plaza, and by 14th of December, there will be a full-scale protest around the country. After Canada's remarks, the UK government also discussed the issue in the House of Commons and have stated that the UK government is keeping an eye on this protest. A few days ago, a demonstration took place in London also in support of Indian farmers. Moving to next, a female journalist has been shot dead in eastern Afghanistan on Thursday, taking the total number of journalists and media workers killed this year in Afghanistan to 10. Malala Maiwan was on her way to work in Jalalabad when gunmen opened fire on her vehicle. Her driver Mohammed Tahir was also killed. Later, after the attack, the Islamic State claimed responsibility for the shooting death of a female TV presenter. And at last, Google has been fined for 100 million euros, equivalent to 91 million pounds in France, for breaking the country's rules on online advertising trackers known as cookies. It is the largest fine ever issued by the French data privacy watchdog CNIL. US retail giant Amazon was also fined 35 million euros for breaking the rules. CNIL said Google and Amazon's French website had not sought visitors' consent before advertising cookies were saved on their computers. So that's all from us this week at the University of Manchester. Tune in next Friday for our weekly news update. Thanks. See ya.